I'm doing pop culture, Depp vs. Heard, stories like that. This here is Amber Heard's friend named Eve Barlow. Some say Eve is a partner, some say a journalist. It doesn't matter so much. Eve is someone close to Amber who keeps defending Amber on Twitter. And what Eve has been doing recently is blaming people, YouTubers, creators, and people like that for taking money and monetizing Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, and the case around it. But what Eve is doing is taking money on Twitter with over 60,000 followers and bad-mouthing Johnny quite a bit. Now, the big difference here is Johnny was actually found to be defamed in Virginia over 6 weeks in a case with a jury and a judge. So I'd say what Eve is doing is hypocritical and worse than what she thinks other people are doing. Most of us are just reporting the news, and most of us are just reporting what other people think about Amber, not anything personal that we know about her, because we don't know anything about her. Not personally. Anyway, let's see what Eve has for today. First up, this is retweeted from Kim, who says, "Today we've launched a new campaign with Teach TV to call for education about domestic abuse and coercive control to be mandatory for all 16 to 19-year-olds. Sign the petition here." Well, all right, I guess they didn't say all 16 to 19-year-old women. I guess it's for all people, so that's one good thing. But the ironic part is Amber was the one who was proved to do the abuse. And I'm going to guess since Eve badmouths and puts down Johnny so much, this is her way of saying, look out for abuse. Look what happened to my friend. She's not directly saying it, but I have to come to the conclusion that's the implication here by retweeting. Now, I will say they did hit 64,000 signatures, which is not bad for her crowd, because usually they only pull a couple of thousand in the single digits, a couple of hundred, something like that. So, all right. I just don't trust the whole implication here. But nothing direct in this case. And then she retweets this. Creators said that the Amber Heard vs. Johnny Depp defamation trial was a pivotal moment in the online harassment landscape, emboldening misogynistic YouTubers and allowing them to collectively amass millions of followers. See, the big problem I've said over and over, is the word harassment. Now, harassment is something you do to somebody personally. You can't harass someone with something they can just simply ignore. That's not directed at them anyway. Harassment's got to be to someone's personal phone, personal email, personal address, something like that. Something they can't avoid or they can't ignore. Also, I don't see how it's different than anything else on YouTube. There are hundreds and thousands of videos about Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, certain politicians, I'm sure you know. I mean, certain politicians get smeared beyond existence, and no one calls it harassment. Just saying. And she keeps going on. YouTube is overrun with misogyny and videos pushing misinformation, hate campaigns, and outright conspiracies targeting women are often monetized. The other thing is this. Most of those videos, I can't say for sure, no one can, because there's hundreds of thousands, but from the ones I see, and I've followed for years, they're third-party reports from the mainstream media. Like myself and a lot of my counterparts, we're reporting on The Sun, The Daily Mail, People, Variety, Washington Post, like this person's retweeting, and things like that. We're not just putting out our opinion with nothing there. We're going by what the media says and giving our opinion on what the media says, which is why harassment is such a silly word. How am I harassing someone by giving my opinion on what an article says about them? Kind of ridiculous. Or, like you see here, I'm using tweets and giving my opinion on someone's tweets. That's not harassment. Sorry. It's also not misogynistic. If Eve was a different gender, it would make no difference. It's all about the words that are coming out specifically. And around the same time as these tweets, Eve goes on and on about fighting harassment and hate online, when that's exactly what Eve and a lot of her friends are doing to Johnny Depp. I guess me saying that is supposed to be harassment. I think it's just a plain fact anyone can see if you've got 2 eyes, ears, and a brain. Let me know what you think down below. Doing shoutouts, special thanks, things like that. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. And if you don't consider it and don't subscribe, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.